Hey, hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this unboxing of Penpot Beta.
Yay!
Yay!
There's a little bit of introduction.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome everyone. We'll have the chat there. We hope you enjoy this session, and that you comment, ask questions, whatever you want. This is sort of a private event just for ourselves and our friends here in the community. And we should introduce ourselves. So I'll start. I'm Pablo. I'm CEO at Penpot. Actually, I'm CEO at Kaleidos, which is the company that develops Penpot and also Taiga. And I've been hacking open source for more than 20 years now. My academic background is in science and engineering. Next is Clara. Do you want to go next?
Hi everyone. I'm Clara. I'm a product designer in Kaleidos and in Penpot. And my background is a designer, a visual designer, and an interaction designer also. So nice to be here.
Hey, I'm Han, product designer at Penpot too. My main task at Penpot is to solve problems related with interface and create great experience. Also, open source lover, and as a designer, I know that it's hard to contribute, but that's why we create Penpot. So, let's see.
Great. So I think what we have today is we're going to be here for almost an hour. We'll see, how it goes. But what we decided to prepare for everyone here and people, watching this recorded, is a bit of, the product itself. And instead of just going through, bullet points on presentations and things like that with screenshots, we're going to do a live demo. That means Penpot beta, just live design. And so we thought it would be cool that some of us actually is using Penpot, designing some stuff, while the other two just comment and explain things about Penpot, why we're here and things like that. So we'll have the whole workflow, like from design to handoff. We hope you enjoy it and give any inspiration for people to then suggest new ideas or whatever. So let's
How do
Yeah,
we
just
start?
let's me hands on this app that we are doing. So yeah, while you're talking, I've been working for a while.
We are going to design in a already existing design of a music app, and we are going to work on this. I think we can start. Pablo,
Mhm.
can you tell us how and why Penpot has born? Because I joined Kaleiros in 2017,
17, yeah.
and and Penpot was born on 2015. So maybe you're a better person to explain us.
Well, actually, I mean, you probably don't know this or you haven't realized this, but the fact that you joined Kaleidos in 2017 propelled the existence of Penpot. Um, but it's true that Penpot, under a different name, UXbox, was born in one of our Pi weeks, personal innovation weeks. We have that every 6 months at Kaleidos. We stop working for other projects and we just do fun projects for ourselves, either alone or in teams. And we have this recurring pain after developing Taiga, which is our open source agile project management platform, this recurring pain where designers at Kaleidos were using tools that were not up to the task.
Yeah.
So at some point, Juan and Andre and Jesus decided to, just experiment a bit with this new open source design and prototyping tool. Actually, we have a picture of that by week. I'm going to show you that. It's this is Juan.
Oh no!
a very young
Oh
and sad
no!
Juan.
Yeah, I don't know why he's so serious there, but people can actually identify the very beginning of the Penpot interface.
Yeah.
Um, it's I mean it's quite different these days, but it was that, I think that was December 2015. This has
Yeah.
been an ongoing work since then, but it was not until you joined Kaleidos that we had this internal debate on what to do with our tools,
Yeah.
and that we decided to go all in with Penpot. Do you remember that? You remember when you joined Kaleidos that we had this particular request for design, from designers or for designers that joined
Yeah.
our company?
Yeah. When I joined Kaleidos, something that surprised me was it's very rare to came to work as a designer, thinking about open source tools, because there are not an open source tool at level of what designers are used to work with. So it the design team in Kaleiros came to the conclusion that we need that tool. We need to work on an open source tool that made us work as efficient and as accurate that we think that we can do it in proprietary tools. So it the onboarding in Kaleiros for me as a designer was a little bit difficult, because my background is on proprietary tools,
Yeah.
and that change, it's difficult.
I mean, we
But
we you knew that what was at stake, because during the
of
interviews and all
course,
that, we make sure
of
that.
course, of course,
But it's very different for the people watching this. It's very different when you say that to a developer. At this company, we only use open source tools. That developer will say, "Yeah, of course. That's the obviously the best choice in for many reasons." But when you tell that same concept to a designer, it's not
yeah,
like immediate. Yeah, absolutely. Or on board.
because there was no professional design and prototyping tool in open source market, and we are not used to work with an prototype and design tool, because there is no such thing. There was no such thing.
Now, the
Yeah,
the this concept that designers are second-class citizens in open source, free and open source ecosystem, it's the community it was sadly true, but it was actually tougher than that, Clara, because first we had this tremendous crisis in the company where designers asked, and you were there, I think, asked
yeah,
please to make an exception to the rule and not use open source tools while
yeah.
designing.
Because there was a pain, and we need to work as professional as the other designers in other companies, but we have no such thing, and we knew that uh, this I don't know how to say it. This choice was difficult to us, because we want to work with an open source tool, but we need to work to to a professional level. So
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And so what happened is that we conceded. The whole company decided to say okay to that exception to the rule, because we
yeah,
felt the pain. I mean, I'm a developer, but I could understand, that the pain.
mm,
I felt privileged, like I don't have an issue with that. With my daily work, I can use any open source tool, frameworks,
yeah,
databases, operating systems, browsers, libraries, whatever I want. I'll have probably the leading product. Just looking at
yeah.
open source.
Because you developers have have because you made your own tools,
Yeah, that's
and
true. That's true.
if
Yeah,
you need if you need something, you
we
can,
develop it
yeah,
exactly.
create
Yeah,
it. And
open source. Sorry, guys. Open source is a traditionally no developers world.
yeah,
Yeah,
But I think it's time that was more
exactly. Yeah.
inclusive. And so we had this crisis. We accepted using a proprietary tool we won't mention. Um, but at the same time, that something clicked, and we
Yeah.
decided, okay, this has to be a temporary solution. This cannot be forever, concession. And this Pi week, that picture I showed you with Juan, doing that little mock-up, actually got top priority. Like, okay, we'll go back to that UX box thing, and we will turn that into a professional product. Now, we had done that already with Taiga, and I think we will comment more about team conversation and why there's a ongoing theme there and ethos in our products. Uh, you know, so design and development can work together. We think that's a trend that will continue to grow during this decade. So we knew how to go from internal prototype to
Yeah.
amazing product that people can use on production.
Yeah. We have the expertise,
We have the
and
expertise. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, Taiga has been used by millions of users, so
Yeah.
uh, that
And
that's a lot of learning curve already there.
yeah, to us as a team in Kaleidos, the background of Taiga is very useful to work in Penpot, and to trace the roadmap, and
Yeah,
any anything that makes Penpot a really professional tool to work with. So
are you
yeah.
enjoying your design, Juan? How's it that going?
How is it
Yes,
going?
it's going good. I need probably 2 more minutes to
Okay.
end
Okay.
this, finish this
Clara,
search
can
results
you
screen.
comment on what he's doing, like the tools that he's doing? Perhaps he's going too fast for that,
Of
but
course. But I'm going to watch it on my screen. So, okay. Right
Hey,
now,
hello,
he's
hello,
using. Hi,
hi,
I'm here, like the little pink,
multiplier.
like the little pink pencil, and he's using libraries and on components,
mhm.
and as you've seen, he's adding a component in here. It's very important to us that when we created Penpot, the the one of the bases is that we need to create a collaborative tool,
Yeah,
because not only for designers, also for developers. And I think that many people work with the same file. It's very useful in order to create and develop apps or whatever you are designing.
and this is everything. I mean, people watching this probably already know this if they know Penpot, but this is 100% web. This is 100% web
Web-based.
web based. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Clara, I think I'm done.
Okay. Look,
So
I'm
it's your
taking
turn.
take this from there. This
So
is
now
this
now
is
we're
my
so
screen.
Juan, you can take a rest now. We're watching Clara now.
Yeah. Hands on
What a
fire.
pressure! Oh my goodness.
So I think what Clara's going to show you now is we saw design,
Mhm.
and now we're going to do some prototyping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh,
there's some tools out there that either focus on prototyping and design or interactive prototyping. So like
Mhm.
design per se, or actually doing these fake mock-ups that appear to be a working product, whether it's an app or any other thing. I mean, you could use Penpot for an app or for a billboard, design or a book
Mhm.
cover. It's just multi-purpose. But when you need this interactive stuff happening, sometimes just for feedback or to get your message through people's minds, then you have that advanced prototyping. So that's what Clyde is going to do,
Yes.
try to create that journey.
Yep. And yes, that's you are watching now is Clara doing some advanced prototyping. in order to create new animations and interactions, which is it's really cool stuff. So let's see.
So I'd like to comment on one coming from a developer background myself. I
Hmm.
always thought that it was about time, that we would have an amazing design and prototype tool. Like I started in 1997
Hmm.
doing hacking open source, and I saw everything that was like missing being fixed by the community with a component behind it, or just pure community work. But Office suite and all that, right?
Hmm.
Browsers, databases, and all that, of course, operating systems. But this particular segment, I
Hmm.
thought someone will eventually develop this. But actually, what happened is that it grew in importance, particularly this past decade, with
Hmm.
many many super amazing tools. People got interested in UX UI design, and it was actually something bigger, fortunately for everyone here in
Yes,
this IT industry. And we didn't have it didn't appear, that tool wasn't there, probably because still 90% of open source enthusiasts um, don't need it.
exactly.
uh,
Hmm. I think this is the main reason.
and we have amazing community like open source design. Kudos to them that every FOSDEM, like every congress there in Brussels, they have this amazing track. We contribute as much as we can,
Hmm.
where they try to put together design and open source, like matching. Have this matching and allowing open designers to contribute to open source products. Having that conversation.
Yeah.
But and that's something very important. But the tool was still missing. Um,
Yes.
anyway, I wouldn't have
I
thought.
have a history to tell you about that. As you remember, in Kaleidos, we start working with Inkscape to do all the stuff
Yes, yes,
because we
amazing tool.
only use as a designers we only use open source
Open
software.
source,
So
yeah, and open
the
standards,
most
yeah,
yes, the most powerful tool these days were Inkscape. So we don't know how to create Penpot yet, but we feel what we need to contribute some in some form. So we decided to create Rethink Escape, which is an old project, and in which we rebuild and rethink all the Inkscape interface, and we contact with the Inkscape
yeah,
team, and is then we realize that it's really hard to contribute as a designer because not because of the Inkscape teams, because they are awesome, but because of the um, how to see it, how to tell, because of the workflow that the contribute is made. It's hard
yeah,
to create a design, and where is going who's going to develop that, keep in touch, do the specification documentation. Is really complicated. Not if you are not in the same team, is really hard. So that's why I think this is this was the seed of Penpot, that we think, hey, we need to do something about that.
I mean, we got a lot of inspiration from Inkscape, particularly
Mm.
the SVG, the love for SVG. I think that's the key that we adhere to open standards.
Mm.
Speaking of tools, Juan,
Hmm.
this is my personal opinion, but you can have a say here, of course. Is that there are other tools out there, right? There are other
Yes.
uh, proprietary tools. Not
Yes.
many, because I think this is a very very challenging software to develop.
Hmm.
Um, and it's tough not to be inspired by them.
Hmm.
Also, it's tough not to be aware of the interface standards that they promote,
Yes.
particularly when
Hmm.
you're
Of
starting
course.
as with a new tool.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say, and I think people will agree with this, that we have some like inspiration and influence from existing tools, and at the same time, this is very important. We need to take just as much inspiration as we need for people to get it, to
Yes.
to migrate from one tool to another, and
Mhm.
then just create our own path. Develop our own story about what a
Mhm.
design and prototype tool should be.
Yes, even if you are a designer, it's hard to start and on a new tool because all the interface. Well, we have interface standards, with an interface with a header, sidebars, buttons with interactions, and all this stuff. But it's convenient to follow these standards to reduce friction, to facilitate
Yeah,
a better user experience, and the adoption of the people. It's not to rebuild the wheel, but but
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Get it. So
they
Clara
they
here
are,
is
of course we are influenced by other tools such as Figma or Adobe XD. They are very good tools with a lot of experience and users. So
that's
yeah,
absolutely true. That's fair to
it's
say.
clear. Hmm.
Clara here is doing all these clever linking, between panes and components and elements, and for every single sort of arrow, I guess she's deciding what type of transition, and
Yeah.
so she's
Yes,
going from design to prototype mode or interactive
exactly.
prototype mode,
Yeah.
design prototype. So if people are like, wow, what's going on here? She's basically moving from pure design and
Hmm.
an advanced
Yeah,
prototype layout to sort of play or have this interactive mock-up as
yeah.
a stakeholder would enjoy, or anyone on the team would enjoy, if
She's
they just want to not be concerned about the design itself, just be concerned about how it looks or how it behaves, right?
Yeah, she's switching between workspace. We call it workspace, which is the main interface you see with the sidebars and the components, etc. And this that we are watching now is the view mode, and she's switching between the interactive mode, the comments, etc. Yeah, probably you want to share this mode with your stakeholders and your teammate
Yeah,
colleagues.
I think one thing I'd like to is a bit of a different topic, but we mentioned this is pure web.
Hmm.
Penpot is just web. You only need a browser. We also like open standards, and so when we go not just for the output like SVG and of course PDF and JPEG and PNG and all that as output formats, but SVG as a native format.
Hmm.
And one thing that you get when you focus on open standards is that some things are easier. If you adhere to open standards when you develop a product,
Yeah.
you benefit from the fact that some things are already there, pre-built for you. And here, even though we're not going to show you this, but one of the nice collateral effects of doing that is, of course, the right to left language support, which means
Hmm.
that you get to have Penpot's interface on your language, like whether it's Sindhi, Pashto,
Hmm.
Persian, Hebrew, Arabic. You get your, as long as it's translated. We have Arabic and Hebrew so far. You get real RTL experience at the UA level. I mean, you then design however you want, and this is absolutely great because I think it was 2 months into our alpha. Like we launched on February. I think it was April or March or May.
Hmm.
People can just check on GitHub issues and look for this. I might be wrong,
Yes.
but let's say May.
Hmm.
And we already were able to develop the RTL support. I mean, we had to develop some
Yes.
stuff. Is that you don't get that for free, but it was super easier. And I think that's super important for a
Mhm.
tool like
If
this.
you embrace open standards, you can get these quick wins. And I said quick wins. Probably developers want to kill me, but because it's not that quick. But yeah. And I want to add one thing about SVG because is the compatibility with most of the Victoria tools.
Yeah.
If you use SVG, you have this, and it's friendly and extremely easy to use. So yeah.
Okay. How are you doing, Clara? Uh,
Fine. I'm adding some comments
oh, that's great.
to Juan's work.
So
Uh,
we'll
That breath.
oh
Once
no!
work.
It's because I love this this screen.
Okay, okay.
So
It's
the
very,
one
very
thing
useful.
in any workflow that matters, you get to design, you get to produce these interactive mock-ups. Of course, there has to be space for feedback,
Yeah,
and
of
whether it's
course.
designer to designer feedback, or X to Y feedback, it's important that the tool allows for that within the tool, that you can
Yeah,
comment whether it's on the interactive prototype or in the design itself. And so Clara is just
Mhm.
basically adding some comment
some
bubbles there.
comments. Yeah,
Uh,
and you can also do it. Let me show you. You can also do it in from the design itself, and also you can do it from
yeah,
this part
From the view
from
mode.
the
From the view
view
mode.
mode,
Yeah.
because maybe you cannot allow some people to touch your prototype, your editing
yeah,
file, but as a stakeholder, you want to add some
yeah.
comments in here,
Add some
like
comments and expect
yeah,
everything to be fixed by tomorrow and
yeah,
all that. Um, so yeah, so two or three comments, and I think we'll move on
yeah,
to the next
Okay, okay.
part, which I think is actually seeing Juan
yeah.
uh, uh, fixing.
Reading my
You are,
comment,
Yeah, exactly.
you are,
Going to the
fixing
comments
things.
and
so you are done, Clara?
Yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay, so okay.
so for people watching, I mean, what we're doing is switching between Juan and Clara's windows.
Yeah,
Um, but they're working on the same,
the
just
same file.
real time collaboration. You can see there are two avatars there on the top. We've done some tests. I wouldn't encourage people to go beyond the 40 user limit, but like serious real time collaboration. Um, but I mean, it's just super crazy to see more than just 10 people just at the same time, trying to edit stuff.
Yeah,
But for some dynamics and some stuff, it's actually quite fun.
yeah.
Anyway, I
After
digress.
after that, we are going to let you people see this file we are working now, so you can
Play
take
with
a
it
look,
or
and
whatever you want.
yeah, and
So this is what we call the team conversation, and I think I personally have a very strong feeling about how teams can work together, particularly multi-functional teams, like cross-domain
yeah,
teams, like people, not only developers and designers, mostly developers and designers, but also journalists, lawyers, marketing, communications, etc. And we learned a lot about that when we developed Taiga. Taiga as I said, is an agile project management tool. It's open source. You can use it, download it for free. Just adapt it to your workflow. Pretty nice UI. And we think that this is my personal take, but we created Taiga to make sure designers were happy with agile techniques. Like we developers, I as a developer wanted to create Taiga to bring designers on board
yeah,
the agile methodologies, whether it's the Scrum technique or the Kanban or a mixture of both. And it proved successful. That experiment went actually super amazing. And Penpot does that, but from the designer's perspective. Like designers
yeah,
wanted developers to bring developers to the design process. Now,
yeah.
what if we actually merged? Put
Both.
together
Yeah,
Boom.
both. Boom. That's right. Boom. So like I don't know, your design, like now Juan, he's actually
Mhm.
fixing something, or just reading Clara's comments and then deciding that yeah, she's right, I'm going to change this, and that probably is linked to a Taiga issue. But what
yeah,
Mhm.
if the Taiga issue was here already, like an easy viewport into the Taiga project, and Juan didn't need to actually go back to Taiga and close an issue, but just do it from here, or things like that. So I mean, I'm very excited about that too.
And also maybe you can maybe be in Taiga the prototype some way. So
Yeah,
it's I
to
think
have
it's
like yeah,
yeah like
screenshot.
to
Well, go ahead.
it's amazing the change of mind that designers need to do in in order to start working without thinking in I made some designs, I made some prototypes, and I throw it to developers and they do their magic, and and after that it became a website or an app. I think we are working so hard in change that mental
Yeah.
model of designs do their magic and developers do their magic without even even talking.
It doesn't work. I mean, for some
Yeah,
very niche products, it could be that you have this sequential, very sequential, workflow where you have the everything that needs to be designed, it's design. Then you have development, and then you have this change management workflow where everything that is not according to whatever X thing you have to change, and it's I think merging both agile methodologies and design process, having that, I think that's a huge opportunity just in terms of processes. Now
yeah,
we do have, I mean, it's true that we have two tools that deal with agile and design process. So I mean, for us it's super exciting to see how this confluence, could work out.
So I'm done,
Juan,
guys.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
done.
you're done.
Yes.
So we have so that's great.
Yeah, I think
I
I
forgot
think
to add this clear icon, so I just added two, and yeah, I'm done. All yours.
perfect. I'm taking it from there. So
So
we
actually, we're discussing this workflow relationship between design and development, and
yeah, we are now going to watch it. So we have this prototype.
mhm.
We are going to okay, look, everything is okay. And after that, okay, perfect. We're now going to look on the handoff. Oh, what's that?
Ooh.
It's code. Finally. So I'm going to
I think you can expand on that.
yeah. Okay. Maybe I
Ooh.
yeah. And you're now I think maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better this way.
Well, maybe
We
it's
have
too much, but
maybe
well,
it's too much.
we
Yeah,
put a lot of effort and love in doing so, in order to give this clear code as clear as possible to copy and paste. If you click on an icon that I did, probably search icon or the clear icon, you will see that it's a clear path of SVG. You can download it, copy and paste it, or use uh, whatever you like. So
I
yeah,
think
this.
the here we have one of the key benefits of using Penpot, I guess, which is that every design here is SVG native, and that
Mhm.
means that you can trust the longevity, of your design. That we are not using. I think, Clara, you can zoom out a bit, I guess.
of course.
Uh, the the idea that it has been very challenging to make sure that we could use SVG and not default to a open source but custom format, which would be super tempting, right? So people understanding the subtleties of formats we'll get this. Like it's always better to just create your own stuff, right? It's just simpler. You decide everything. But we thought it was worth trying, to stick to SVG and do some enrichments to SVG and use it as much as we could. And the result is that the design is the code, that there is no lost in translation for the designer. And I think a designer would always appreciate that whatever they're doing is actually code itself, that there's not going to be any loss in translation when they export it to SVG or any other format. At the same
Mhm.
time, this opens up the possibility of developers understanding that what Penpot is storing is a file or could be a file. And when a developer thinks of files, then all sort of exciting version control ideas, pop up, right? So there,
Yeah.
there are there are benefits for both designers.
Yeah.
They can trust that they don't need to export anything. Whatever they design is already valid for developers. You just copy and paste. And for developers, they suddenly realize that the design process is actually outputting files. So could it be code in a repo?
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yes, absolutely. This is a triumph for cross-domain collaboration. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Well,
Uh,
so
and of course, these ideas that we share here, I think that excited us all this time. But we are pretty sure that despite the fact that first and foremost, we as Kaleidos, as a Penpot team, need to, go all in with this. Like, make sure we have a absolutely fully dedicated team to develop this. It takes a lot of time to actually just do basic stuff with Penpot, like develop any basic feature. We know that what is going to be super exciting is what contributions or feedback come from the community.
mhm,
I think it's good to have a user community like other tools, but I think it's much better to have a contribution community
mhm.
and having this ongoing conversation.
I want to
So
mention here the well community of Blender. Yeah,
yeah,
we
that's
are
huge
really
inspiration.
really fans. It's inspiration. Yeah. This model and how we get put all the project into the community and the community answer with a lot of feedback, code, and yes, and now is the most popular and most powerful 3D software. So
True.
yes, I think is inspiration.
So I think we didn't want to ask for much time for people here. I think we are sort of done. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what it would
Hmm.
be amazing is to just uh, listen to people watching this live webinar, and you can ask your questions, uh, or just share your comments, or give some ideas, crazy ideas of what you would like to see in Penpot. This is Penpot beta. Actually, I think we were using the pre-production environment, so there's some things that will be ready like in no time,
Hmm.
but they're not actually production. So Vikram has this super amazing question about premium. I think as a company, we do need to have a sustainability plan. For now, fortunately, this employee-owned company that is Kaleidos can decide what to do next, and it's basically develop the best product that we can. There's a lot of validation we still need to get, but I think um, it's going to be very important that we make sure that power users and everyone that actually wants to make the best and the most out of Penpot can do that. You know, as an open source software, and then next year just start thinking of whether a premium tier makes sense, or whether a specific feature is meant for, I don't know, executives, or people that need all the other things that are not regular users but are people willing to pay for something that regular users really don't care much about. um, we have to think, we have to see, but yeah, Taiga does have a premium tier, which is related to how many users and projects you can have. We think that's outdated, and think actually proprietary tools are going that way. limiting very much, how much you can use a tool. If you have a big team, then you pay a lot. If you have a small team, you pay less. I think what is really important is that whether you have a small or big team, what you need is completely free. Or if you need something really extra for some specific user,
Mhm.
then we can ask for some fee. But we had to decide on that to
Just
make
have
it.
a question. You have a question about that? Perhaps premium could mean support.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
but I think one thing I would like to share is that what we've seen over the past few years, and Taiga is a great example, is that when you do develop an amazing product like quality, professional, support is the last thing you want to give because you don't want it to be needed. And so
Yeah.
traditional open source tools have relied too much on the need for support. Honestly, I would not like to go that way. I would like support to be marginal. I'm speaking as CEO, so this is something that's very very important for me. Um, we actually charge for Tiger support. Guess what? We have hundreds of thousands of Tiger instances around the world.
Mhm.
We don't have support requests. People don't value that. Why? Because we make it so easy to deploy and to configure that sysadmins and other administrators are fine, using the platform. They don't need extra help. So I have to admit, I'm not super excited about support these days because that means probably you're doing your product, you're developing your product in a way that we wouldn't like to be. Like you need support to get the most out of it, and you should pay for it. I think it should be simpler than that. Um, okay, Carmel. Based on the current status of the tool, how is the best way to contribute to the future of Penpot as a designer? Wow,
Be
I
my
mean,
guest.
uh, designers.
uh, uh, well, right now we're trying to figure out what is the best way to contribute because it's much more easier when you're a developer. You can add some great ideas to the code by our contribution guide. But we are now working on a contribution guide. Um, but maybe an GitHub enhancement was
Mhm.
was great, and we are now always reading all of the enhancements issues, and so that users let us in give us in GitHub. So
Mhm.
it's it,
We we already have three ways to do that nowadays. It's true that, as Clara said, that it's complicated maybe to do a design contribution via GitHub, but we have our email open and we have our Taiga project where you can see all the project progress, all the design sprint, etc. And all the user stories are open, so you can read something, or if you want to contribute in some part, you can do in that way. But if you want to change something that you said that is necessary with a contribution via email, I think it's the best way nowadays to do it is if you are a designer, the easy way. Yeah.
I think this is a great question because it reminds me of the lack of such process
Yeah.
in open source. I'm not saying, I mean, there are many tools out there that are user interface driven, and like I don't know, Firefox, and they have this, but it's something we want to do right. Like how a designer can contribute and feel like their contribution is considered as much as a code contribution. On what is the process, so it makes sense for everyone, and the expectation management is there. We are very familiar with code contributions, fixing bugs, performance issues, adding some features. Sometimes those features do include UI part, but just design. I think it's a bit meta. Carmel probably already understand that. Penpot is a designer's tool to design, and this is a contribution for improvement for a design tool that allows people to design, which is an amazing challenge. We always said that Penpot is one of those tools that is challenging in terms of the UI itself, the concept of developing a tool that allows designers to be creative and just have imagination free and develop what they want. And at the same time, in terms of development, it's super challenging to have a tool like that uh, perform the way it's needed with the robustness and the speed that is required. So it feels instant. So many challenges. Probably that's the reason why there's so few tools out there
Yeah.
in this.
And we need
Okay.
to say that we are designing Penpot in Penpot.
Of course. Penpot designs itself. Next
Yeah,
question.
it's like in Entropia.
John, great question. Anything you want to share? Any exciting features that are there in the roadmap?
Yeah,
Clara, I think she's excited about something. What is
yeah.
that, Clara?
We are now working on advanced prototyping, more more
Animations.
features, yeah, like animations and things like that. And in our roadmap, there is such things as maybe advanced component versions or things like that.
Mhm.
Stay tuned.
uh,
Anything you're excited about, Juan?
yes, I want to put my hands on integration with Taiga.
Okay.
As you said, our workflow is mainly these two tools, and for us will be, amazing and to get fluid and dynamic and then dynamitize all these workflows. So probably this year, let's see.
I think my personal take.
Yes, Pablo,
We'll answer
what's
that
your?
question. My personal favorite. You guys have a top priority, but I'd love to see that integration between Penpot's storage layer with SVG and a Git repo, or
Mm,
any repo, like
Yeah,
doing that, uh, allowing teams to add the design process to their continuous integration and continuous development process. Because that for me would mean that we finally got designers to actually have impact on the developer pipeline, which
yeah,
is
correct.
the product pipeline.
Mm,
And I
yeah,
think thanks to using SVG, which is the open standard that is being used in the code, and CSS and HTML, of course, and all that. But allowing that integration, I think, is going to be a game changer, because the only element, part, item, ingredient that is lacking this whole marvelous continuous integration process that we have is the design. And now that Penpot, you can use it SaaS or on premise, it opens up that possibility to use
yeah,
it as a first class citizen element in the whole digital product development, whatever your digital product is.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
I'm
but
super excited about that.
as you see, we have for this for the next year, we have on our roadmap a bit of improve design features because we need to get more powerful at design, and a lot of team make the team use the tool for the workflow, the daily workflow. We need
Yeah.
yeah,
to improve all that stuff because we need to, well, we are a tool for the team, not only for designers, so
yeah,
we know what that we need to improve this part.
yeah. I want to say, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. There are a few questions about contributing on translation.
Hmm.
We have a lot of contributions,
Already.
and
Yeah, already. We use not
already.
Weblate. We use Weblate,
Yeah,
open
we use
source.
Webblade, and you can send us to to the email, to support email, your name,
Hmm.
and we added translation to it. We already have a few translation, right to left translation.
Hmm.
This is a challenge to us, and we'd love to receive your your translations and made Penpot as much as international that as as we could.
This is
It's
very
Yeah.
very
important.
important to
This
us.
is this is truly important. We experienced that with Taiga. It's translated to 27 languages, and it's amazing how the community just continues to expand that list of languages. But I think Penpot in particular, being a design tool or a designer's tool, it's even more important because I
Yeah,
think sometimes we just conceive design as just Western design, and I think that's so wrong. That's not how we should approach these tools.
yeah,
And it's much better to have the tool you're using for your creativity the way you want it.
yeah.
So you go
And the
to
way you
Weblate,
write
exactly.
in your day,
The way you
and
think, the way you
yeah,
write, the way you
it's very
create.
important to us.
So you go to Weblate, you create an account, you don't have one already, look for Penpot and just apply yourself like for any language, whether it's already there and you want to just help get to the 100% progress bar, or just create a new language. So I hope we got your question answered to it.
Let
Are
me.
you planning to develop Penpot as a virtual editor?
I think I'll answer that. I think I'll answer that, Dimitri. I'd love to see Penpot as a framework for other things that are not necessarily design. But I think first we need to make sure that we get to a point where it's
Yeah,
the best design tool. But the underlying technology should enable other creative ways of using a canvas or a workspace. That's the type of mindset that we want from the community, actually, Dimitri. That's exactly what we want. But so the short answer would be yes. But of course, the long answer is not now. We still have work to do.
yeah. We
There's some
have it in
priority.
our future roadmap.
Exactly. But I mean, you can play with it and see what you can make out of what it's already there. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential in a canvas, right? In a canvas that's
Yes.
using in a web canvas. So yeah, any more questions? Hey Javier, nice to see you again. Yes, I mean that's quite related to what I said.
Yeah,
Design ops, I think it's a wonderful concept, and I think Penpot is probably lobbying for that in a way, which is having either an API or any really close relationship with the storage layer,
yeah,
so that any developer or any developer platform can interact with Penpot in a way that there's a full duplex communication, and you can do both. I mean, both ways should work. You can fetch any new stuff coming from Penpot and use it on your repo, and then trigger any effects that perhaps reflect on production. That would be
yeah,
super amazing. That would mean that a designer actually changing something and clicking on a button is triggering a production deployment event. Wow, that is really first class citizenship for designers.
yeah,
And also the other way around, that a developer could actually change a file in a repo, like an SVG file, and that make Penpot react to that and change the design. Which I don't know if designers would like to do, but if there's a functional conversation going on, probably that would be okay. But meaning you change something in a repo, and Penpot reflects, so the design changes. Perhaps there was a red color, and then you have a green color. Not because
Yeah.
someone used Penpot, but because someone changed something in this developer integration thing. So I hope that answered your question, Javier.
And I want to add that we probably need an API to create plugins and all
yeah.
this stuff to make Penpot more
Someone has
powerful and
mentioned
growing.
it
So yes,
in the chat also.
yes,
Hey, Juan, one thing, yeah, you have to go.
yeah.
We're going to say bye bye to Juan. He's got to go to school to
My
his
son,
kid,
bye.
yeah, to his son. We don't want to. So yeah, he has to run. Uh, Nicholas. So Clara and I will just go ahead.
Yeah.
Switch on tomorrow. I don't have special needs. Not, well, I don't know, Clara. This is for you. This is a question for you.
Yeah, of course. Switch now. Yeah, we are an ongoing tool, but does this does not mean that we are not solid enough to work with in your day a day. Also, I have to say that we are right now changed from alpha to beta because we think we are a very solid tool right now, and we think this is a step we need to take. So of course, I mean, uh, as I also said, we are working in Penpot with Penpot, and we are developing the tool, and we are using it in our day, and we are
Yeah, but I
happy
mean,
with it.
we should be
But
considered like early adapters. But yeah, it's true that Penpot is being designed by Penpot.
yeah, but
Beta. That's why we call this beta.
yeah, yeah, of course. And it's Penpot has a future, and Penpot has a is going to grow up, and it's going to evolve, and it's going to be a more strong tool. But we need to people to use it, to think what are we need to add to Penpot.
Yeah, yeah. I think the reason we launched Penpot back in February as alpha. A lot of people said, I mean, you're kidding. This is not alpha. This is a very mature product. But it was for a reason, particularly because of this question, Nicholas. Like, uh, can I actually switch? And I think alpha was a time for people to just be curious about Penpot and perhaps do the migration, but knowing that it was, there was some risks with beta. It's fine. Uh,
Okay, Nicolas, sorry, but Nicolas, yeah, your question was about beta. No, he said
Beta
that
means, yeah,
it can say it can mean
means a
a
lot of
lot
things,
of
and that's
things.
what,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I think on the website we said. What does it mean beta for us? It means it's robust, solid, future proof. Just we need more features. So it's a matter of features. If you love it, as we say, if you like what you see, you can trust that it's fine. It's a matter of whether you find everything you need for a daily basis or almost everything you need, then it's fine. You can count on us. For us, we will move away from meta when we think we have achieved a point where it's I don't know, we have so many features that we don't need to address ourselves as incomplete, right? But beta doesn't mean anything around unstable or unreliable, nothing at all. We explain that on the website because we know people, are concerned about, they say beta, that's a nasty label to have. Well,
yeah,
in our case, beta means 80% our way into some feature completeness that allows us to proudly say we are super complete in terms of features, but
yeah.
it's quite reliable. I mean, you tell us. I think we have time for one more question, and that's it, or not even that, because we have one. Bernard, hello, Bernard. Yeah,
For this.
I think that would be amazing. Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
mentioned open source design. Back, I think, at the beginning, FOSDEM, Free Open Source Developer European Meeting in Brussels, is going to be online still this year. Yeah, we know why. And yeah, a big shout out to every designer here attending this webinar or the recorded version to go to open source design. Just look for open source design in any search engine, and you'll get to their website, and there there is information about call for papers and all that, or just go to fosdem.org. It's going to be early February next year, and we hope to see everyone there. We still have to think, what to do for this open source design
Yeah.
track. I mean, not the beta, because this is a live webinar, but some stuff around design and code and Penpot. But yeah, absolutely. Do check out, if you're into open source and design, or you're curious about it, just curious about it. Make sure you join FOSDEM 2022 and monitor that open source design track.
Yeah. So
I think that's all, no, Clara?
that's all.
Did you
Yeah,
enjoy the live webinar, Clara?
a lot.
Did you enjoy it as much as my homemade mead I'm drinking here?
Ooh.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Some nice mead. Well, I
So
think
thank you all for being here with us, and we hope you enjoyed as much as we do.
because we'd enjoy
Yeah.
this. I think we have some survey link for you to tell us how it went. Anything you would like to suggest for future webinars,
Yeah.
anything. This is an ongoing process. We're quite, open to feedback. We want to make this useful for everyone, enjoyable, and also useful. That's it. But I think it's 1 hour,
Yeah.
and let's just call it a day.
Yeah, and
So
as we said on the chat, we'll also make available the design template that
yeah,
we're working on. So if you want to try it,
exactly. All,
so
all the work you saw live is going to be available. Also, we have some libraries that you can use and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
reuse. Just go to penpot.app and just look for the shared libraries. Okay, so
Okay,
bye bye. Have a
bye
great
bye. Thank you very
day.
much.
Enjoy the
Bye,
rest of the day. Bye bye.
bye.